figure out the legalities of it. Maybe you need a doctor on it or something like that. That's A. That's more generally drug repurposing, because if you get an off-label use that's there, you can probably repurpose some supplement. B is diagnostics and quantified self and all the body monitoring, like the Apple Watch type stuff. That's now at tens of millions, hundreds of millions of installs. There's a lot that can be done with that. And that's also fast time to market because those devices are already there. There could probably be some Apple Watch-based social network or something like that that you could do. And third is like medical tourism. And this is something where you have to solve the reputational issue, because you actually might have much better medical care in Turkey or Bumrungrad, which I mentioned earlier, or some other hospital. But you need to have either American or Western or some other kind of high prestige doctor over there that is putting their name on the line and is a bridge between the high quality, low cost jurisdiction and the low quality, high cost jurisdiction to get people to go over there. And then again, you might be able to innovate faster. So those are like three paradigms. There's probably more, many more, I can talk about them, but in terms of how you could get biotech to market faster.
Yeah, a quick side note, I experienced this firsthand. I went hiking and I got a little cut and needed to go to the ER room to get it sewed up. And I was on the table and he said, "So are you taking any meds?" I thought, oh no. So I said, okay, I'll give this a go. I said, yeah, I'm on metformin. He said, the diabetic drug? Yeah. I'm on rapamycin. The drug they give people when they have an organ transplant? Yeah. I'm on dasatinib, the leukemia drug? Yeah. Son, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And so it just, yeah, we have found a great opportunity in taking existing drugs and repurposing, and they've been some of the most efficacious things we've done. So yeah, there's plentiful opportunity, and yeah, it's oftentimes, and it just shows that the majority, I mean, it really drew a contrast for me of I'm so involved in this that I sometimes forget that the rest of the world just has no idea this is even an opportunity. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things that we can immediately get access to.
And then once you've got the information out there, places like India will do generic drugs. So when the information is out there, then you go to places where they just don't even obey the crazy pharma, basically, in some ways, big pharma and FDA are adversarial, but in many ways they're cooperative, where FDA likes it that a big company can jump through all of its idiotic hoops. And big pharma likes that FDA sets up these hoops because it knocks out the small companies. And both them cooperate on the artificial scarcity of regulation and IP, okay, to essentially say they're going to choke out all the low-cost providers. But other jurisdictions, once you put the information that this drug can be repurposed for this, other jurisdictions can just say, we're not abiding by that at all, and like India did for many years with generics, and just manufacture at low cost. And so that combination of information and manufacturing, you could maybe get something out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's also crazy that like huge databases that are currently in the control of government or universities that could be mined where people take those drugs.
Yeah, who wants to go Aaron
Just
Swartz?
even be more explored, right?
Yeah. I mean, okay, I'll tell. Go ahead, finish what you're saying.
No, you go.
Yeah.
Finish your point.
So like, how? Who knows how Hollywood was founded? How was Hollywood founded? Edison had all the patents for like what would be called at the time and still motion pictures, and he was in like the New Jersey area. So the guys who did Hollywood, Neil Gabler wrote this book, An Empire of Their Own. The guys who did Hollywood went 3,000 miles away. They went to LA. It was good for scenery. You had deserts and beaches and stuff. But it was also good for patents because they were far away from the guy who could enforce all the motion picture patents. So they just broke all the patents. They built their businesses. They made enough money to fight the lawyers. Sounds a lot like crypto in some ways, right? And they won, right? And so that kind of strategy could be applied to lots of things. Like in particular, I think there's going to be at least 3 AIs. There is the regulated, Bidenized AI of the US, right? There's the Chinese AI. And if we're lucky, there's the Bitcoin style, BitTorrent style, pirate-based style, decentralized AI, where you're training on every Hollywood movie. You're training on every public MP3 data set. You're doing to Hollywood what they did to Edison to get started in the first place. That's your ethical, justification. Like these guys didn't get, how did Google get started? They scraped the entire web. How did Facebook get started? They scraped every single, Facebook. And can you scrape Facebook today? No, you can't. It's banned by their terms of service, right? So they pull up the ladder behind them, right? Once you understand how they got to where they are, they F the law and then they became the law, right? So if you take every biomedical data set, you could do something like Sci-Hub or LibGen, and you could just put it out there. Now, today, those are some large data sets, so it might be hard to do that, right? But I want to see somebody be the Aaron Swartz. I mean, don't get caught, okay? Like Aaron Swartz got caught by the government and he was, sentenced and all this kind of stuff. Unfortunately, he killed himself. But be like, Satoshi and win, right? And be like Snowden, don't be in exile, right? There's things you can do where if you actually want to push for freedom, things like what Alexandra Elbakyan is doing with Sci-Hub and with LibGen are more important than what 1,000 scientists are doing, because she's actually getting, you know Sci-Hub, right? You guys know Sci-Hub?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, all right, you're gonna tell them what Sci-Hub is? You guys know, who here knows what Sci-Hub is?
Yeah.
Oh my God. In this audience, people don't know what Sci-Hub is? Okay, Sci-Hub is basically a site. Wow, go ahead.
No, go ahead, yeah.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
And now, okay, this is the highest signal thing you guys will get in the entire lecture, okay? Everybody in DSci should be 100% pro Sci-Hub, because what is Sci-Hub? It's basically, go ahead.
No, you go.
I think she's a lady. It could be a pseudonym. I actually haven't seen her. She calls herself Alexandra Elbakyan, and what she's basically done is taken every single paper that's behind a paywall, and Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this paywall, okay? And she's basically made them available online, and all you need to do is paste in the digital object identifier link, and it'll just give you a PDF, right? And so she's unlocked all this information, and you could train an insanely good LLM on just this stuff, right? And you already paid for it, since it's your tax dollars that went to fund all these NIH and NSF and so on studies. And you have Elsevier and these other, publishers that are just taxing you a second or a third or fourth time to read the stuff that you already paid for as a citizen, right? And so now this is just the true Punisher, vigilante, Satoshi, Bitcoin style, truly open science, where she just opens all the science, right? And lots of academics actually say they use Sci-Hub, even if they have ostensible academic subscriptions, because it's just easier and faster to just get the paper out, right? So, like, massive replication of Sci-Hub, making it completely unbannable, putting it everywhere, putting it on chain, that's actually a very valuable thing. If DSci isn't aware of that, now they're aware of it.
Yeah, I think some are. I just didn't directly catch it. Your Excellency, you have a question?
Thank you very much, Brian, and as well, Balaji. Yes. So my question goes back to my personal experience. Back in 2011, I started the whole concept of longevity in the Middle East, and I was attacked by by religious people, because I'm trying to take over a character of God, that I'm trying to elongate my biological age. Unfortunately, I had no chance even to explain myself and what I'm doing. I am a physician. I am specialized in regenerative medicine. I did my postgrad in regenerative medicine from Japan. I came back in 2011, and I thought I can do a lot in my country, and it was not easy. So as a physician, I applied many of those elements, which is very scientifically approved on myself. I was able to reduce my biological age. I am 48, but my biological age of my ovaries 28. My liver and my kidneys only 16. And unfortunately, during this time, all the literatures which is going on, they don't identify the gender when there is any intervention. All the standard, all the medication for male and female is the same. And they don't even bear in mind that I have my period 5 days per month, and very soon I will go in my menopause. So these things were not considered, and other things which I came to know myself, and I acquired a new skill, a new school, where I make sure I know the ethnicity of my client and their gender very well considered. So what about your approach? So right now, that's why I'm here with Max. I like the platform, I like the decentralization, I like the transparency in the whole concept. And I was trying to promote this area back in 2013, but it didn't open the appetite of pharma company. So right now I am on ribamycin. I take it twice a week. I'm on metformin, and at the same time I stop resveratrol, because I believe it doesn't fit with my liver enzyme as per my ethnicity, and I take good care of my microbiome, very, very well good care of my microbiome, and I take extra care on my sleep. And I came up with a different approach where right now there's too many colleagues. And I was able with another physician, her name is Eveline, I don't know if you met her. We established an institute. It is open for public, but you need to be professional, either scientist or MD, where we will teach you proper guidelines as a physician, how you can help your patient on longevity. So my question to you, did you bear in mind these two elements, which I believe they have a profound effect on the prognosis or even the outcome of your intervention, ethnicity and gender?
Yeah, so first, we should be friends.
We are already.
We have a lot in common. Good job on your bio.
And I took care of around 311 of my close friends and family. They are on the same boat with me.
Have they seen similar results?
Oh, I'm not doing any PR. I am fully booked till next year, March.
Yeah. That's what's exciting is if you do apply the science systematically, it works. I've seen the same thing, and it does get a lot of criticism. So people have an endless list of things to use to criticize, whether you want to take it from a scientific angle or religious or cultural. There's just so many ways people can criticize it. So we've been trying to extend. So I've been doing it myself. We had a female do Blueprint. So not in the entire thing that I did, but she's 27 and she implemented the majority of the stack. And then we measured 200 biomarkers. So we were trying to poke around at this question of like what happens in a 27-year-old and a female. And it was pretty interesting. We discovered quite a few things. We didn't end up going down the rabbit holes we've gone with me. We just couldn't do it as a team. But yeah, we do want to pursue all these different paths. They're quite, they're expensive. And the rabbit holes, like every person you know, when you begin measuring them, you find several rabbit holes to pursue. And so, yeah, so I'm with you. It's needed. It's helpful when you have it. And when you don't, you kind of have a blind spot. So, yeah, I'm with you.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot I could say, but I think the aspect of you saying something in 2011 and getting pushback on it, I think the media environment has changed today in 2024 because we can quote go direct, and you can just build your own social media profile, and you can speak in your own voice, unfiltered, and make your own points. And so I think Dubai and the Middle East has secularized to a significant extent over the last decade or so. So I think it's a more receptive time, and sometimes the cultural conditions seem to be there as well as the technological prerequisites, and I think we're starting to be there.
The thing that you've probably seen that I've seen as well is that people will run their mouths, but the moment they have the chance to do anything to restore vitality, they do it without thinking. Like you take Ozempic, and even with the side effect profile it has, and even even if it's not the ideal drug, and if it has some complications, people will do it instantaneously. And those who've sworn that they don't want whatever their long list of things. So I really don't think that the opposition to longevity, extending lifespan is real. People are just expressing their fears about themselves and the world, but it doesn't mean anything.
The only thing which I believe maybe I have an extra, I am utilizing the regenerative medicine in big extent. So I do take secretome to a functional unit every 7 months. And that's really worked very well with some of my clients with liver and fatty liver and high cholesterol, if they have a familial hypercholesterolemia mutation. So I have a different aspect, which I can see the huge speed of the whole process.
I think we're coming up close to an hour.
Yeah.
You guys have to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Balaji.
Thanks, everyone.
Good.
way will be made.
Think of this, a car driving through the night, the headlights only go 100 to 200 feet forward, and you can make it all the way from California to New York driving through the dark because all you have to see is the next 200 feet. And that's how life tends to unfold before us. And if we just trust that the next 200 feet will unfold after that, the next 200 feet will unfold after that, your life will keep unfolding, and it will eventually get you to the destination of whatever it is you truly want because you want it.
Well, another thing people wonder about is how long is this going to take? How long will it take to manifest the car, the relationship, the money, whatever it happens to be? Well, I don't have any rule book that says it's going to take you 30 minutes or 3 days or 30 days. I think it's more a matter of you being in alignment with the universe itself.
Size it's nothing to the universe. It is no more difficult to attract on a scientific level something that we consider huge to something that we consider infinitesimally small. The universe does everything it does with zero effort. Grass doesn't strain to grow. It's effortless. It's just this great design. It's all about what's going on up here. It's about what we put in place, saying this is big, it's going to take some time. This is small, oh, I'll give it an hour. You know, those are our rules that we define. There are no rules according to the universe. You provide the feelings of having it now, it will respond. Some people have an easier time with little things, and so we sometimes say, well, start with something small, like a cup of coffee. Make it your intention to attract a cup of coffee today.
Hold an image of talking to an old friend that you haven't seen for a long time. Somehow or another, somebody's going to start talking to you about that person. That person's going to phone you, or you'll get a letter from them.
People are amazed how that I line up car parks, and I've done this right from when I first understood the secret. I would visualize a car space exactly where I want it, and 95% of the time it would be there for me, and I just pull straight in. 5% of the time I have to wait just a minute or two, and the person would pull out and I pull in. So I do that all the time.
A lot of people feel stuck or in prison or confined by their current circumstances. And I'm trying to point out that whatever your circumstances right now, that is only your current reality. And current reality will begin to change as a result of watching this and beginning to use the secret.
When you want to change your circumstances, you must first change your thinking. Every time you look inside your mail expecting to see a bill, guess what? It'll be there. Each day you go out dreading the bill. You're never expecting anything great. You're thinking about debt. You're expecting debt. So debt must show up so you won't think you're crazy. And every day you confirm your thought. Is debt gonna be there? Yes, debt's there. Is debt gonna be there? Yes, debt's there. Why? Because you expected debt to be there. So it showed up because the law of attraction is always being obedient to your attraction. Do yourself a favor. Expect a check.
Most people look at their current state of affairs and they say, this is who I am. That's not who you are. That's who you were. You see, if you look at your current state of affairs right now, let's say, for instance, that you don't have a lot of money in your bank account, or you don't have the relationship that you want, or your health and fitness isn't up to par. That's not who you are. That's the residual outcome of your past thoughts and actions. So we're constantly living in this residual, if you will, of the thoughts and the actions we've taken in the past. When you look at your current state of affairs and define yourself by that, then you doom yourself to have nothing more than the same in the future.
All that we are is the result of what we have thought.
Okay, what can you do right now to begin to turn your life around? I'll tell you 2 or 3 things. Start making a list of things to be grateful for. Start with that, because this shifts your energy. It starts to shift your thinking. Where before this exercise, you might be focusing on what you don't have, and you might be focusing on your complaints, and you might be focusing on whatever the problems are. When you do this exercise, you start to go in a different direction. You start to be grateful for all the things that you feel good about.
Gratitude is absolutely the way to bring more into your life.
Every man knows that when his wife's appreciating him for the little things he does, what does he want to do? He wants to do more.
It's always about appreciation. It pulls things in, it attracts support.
I've said for many years that whatever we think about and think about, we bring about.
Because that's that feeling that you have to have, you know. And so for me, it's been such a powerful exercise every morning to get up and say thank you. Every morning when my feet hit the floor, thank you. And then I start running through what I'm grateful for as I'm going to brush my teeth and do the things I do in the morning. And I'm not just thinking about them and doing some rote routine, but I'm putting it out there and I'm feeling the feelings of gratitude.
Because as soon as you start to feel differently about what you already have, you will start to attract more of the good things, more of the things you can be grateful for. Because you can look around and say, well, look, I don't have the car I want. I don't have the house I want. I don't have the health I want. I don't have the spouse I want. Well, back up, back up. Those are all the things you don't want. Focus on what you already have that you're grateful for. And it might be you have the eyes to watch this. It might be the clothes that you have. Yes, you might prefer something else, and you might get something else pretty soon if you start feeling grateful for what you have.
I think everybody goes through times when they say, oh man, things aren't working right, or things are going bad. And there were some things going on in my family, and I found a rock. I was just sitting here holding this rock. You might see me carrying around. I found a rock. I stuck it in my pocket. And I said, you know what? Every time I touch this rock, I'm going to think of something that I'm grateful for. And so every morning when I get up in the morning, I pick it up off the dresser, I put it in my pocket. At night, what do? You empty your pocket. And there it is again. And I've had some different experiences with that. I've had some amazing experiences. I had a guy from South Africa, and he saw me drop it. He said, what is that?
Well, what's that?
I explained it to him, so he started calling it a gratitude rock.
Gratitude rock.
2 weeks later, I got an email from him from South Africa. And he said, my son is dying from a rare disease. It's a type of hepatitis. He said, would you send me 3 gratitude rocks? Now, they're just rocks I found off the street, you know? So I said, sure. I had to make sure that the rocks were very special. And so I went out to the stream, looked, picked out the right rocks, and sent them off to him. 4 or 5 months later, I get an email from him. Said, my son's better. He's doing terrific. And he said, but you need to know something. He says, we've sold over 1,000 rocks at $10 a piece as gratitude rocks, and we've raised all this money for charity. Thank you very much. And so it's very important to be in an attitude of gratitude, as I call it.
Another thing that I would suggest that you do right now to turn your life around, and this is so huge that I can't find the words to describe just how powerful this can be for you.
I took the visualization process from the Apollo program and instituted it during the 1980s and 90s into the Olympic program. And it was called Visual Motor Rehearsal. When you visualize, then you materialize. And the interesting thing about the mind is we took Olympic athletes and then hooked them up to sophisticated biofeedback equipment and had them run their event only in their mind. Incredibly, the same muscles fired in the same sequence when they were running the race in their mind as when they were running it on the track. How could this be? Because the mind can't distinguish whether you're really doing it or whether it's just a practice. I think if you've been there in the mind, you'll go there in the body.
When you're visualizing, when you've got that picture playing out in your mind, always and only dwell upon the end result. Here's an example. Look at the back of your hands right now. Really, look at the back of your hands. The color of your skin, the freckles, the blood vessels, the rings, the fingernails, the fake fingernails. Take in all those details right before you close your eyes. And then see those hands, your fingers, wrapping around the steering wheel of your...
Problem with this, except, and I know a lot of you are going to jump on me for this one, further developments which continue to amplify the ongoing climate chaos. I am not saying this is being caused by humanity. I am saying that climate chaos is becoming more and more of a thing, and the more we bury our heads in the sand, the worse it's going to get. After the full moon, things do start getting a lot more concentrated, particularly for 2 or 3 days around the 21st and the 22nd of September. This will be when the sun in the sky will be opposite Neptune and then trine Pluto and then moving into Libra all on the same day. That's on the 21st, I think. And then Venus will square Pluto and move into Scorpio on the 22nd. So it seems to me that this period of the 20th, the 21st and the 22nd is going to be a time where there's going to be a lot of subtle changes going on, where there's going to be some sort of global procedure, some global announcement that's going to change the dynamic. I think this could actually be strongly connected with Ukraine and Russia, and it might actually be some type of breakthrough as opposed to breakdown, which would be great. And this is amplified by the developments at the end of the month when Mercury in the sky will be trine Uranus, opposite Neptune, trine Pluto, and moving into Libra, all in the space of 2 days, 3 days, over the 23rd to the 26th. So I do expect a lot of agreements, negotiations, decisions over that period of the 21st to the 26th of September. And I think that this could actually be something rather positive. And it's likely to be some type of breakthrough. And I don't know whether it will be Russia, Ukraine, or Israel and Palestine, or both. We can live in hope. But the overall theme for this month is cautious optimism. I don't want to get too positive. You know me. I'm not going to suddenly burst in a song and do all the happy clappy stuff. But there is cause for hope here.